Okay, it appears that we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Behind the Scenes. And we're happy to be here with you today. It is May 22nd, and we are getting nice weather in Cleveland. How about you guys? Nice weather where you are?
It's beautiful in Massachusetts.
We earned it. We definitely.
I see Kamira shaking her head.
Oh, no, you're not having good weather? What do you have, rain?
I'll take rain, and rain is supposed to come, but we have had a lot of these gray, heavy air days, and the rain just won't come. Like, if you're going to ruin the atmosphere, just go ahead and rain and let the plants get what they need.
Yeah. Do it right. Just do it right.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we are going to talk about summer and what we did and do with our kids to make summer feel like different than the school year and maybe hopefully get them off their devices. So in my house, when my kids were too young to get jobs, they would do backyard camps. And it was such a big deal for the particularly the moms who were juggling work or whatever else they were doing, to find out that there was something their kids could do for a few hours a day. And I loved everything about that experience. My second son, my oldest son, second kid, he did like a sports camp for boys one summer, and my girls would do these backyard camps with arts and crafts and like kiddie pools and all these other things. And they were entrepreneurs for a summer. Like, it was amazing what they had to think about and plan and communicate with parents. And I don't know, I think it captured it all.
Yeah.
You know, like gave them someone had to collect money and be able to talk to an adult and write down what they needed to buy for each day of camp. I mean, it was really a lot of work for them. And it was, I think, like a gift, just a gift. Of course, I had to work hard too. That was less of a gift for me. Yeah. But I really recommend that. All right, who's next?
I have this, as you're speaking of working hard, and it's not my son, but it was a little boy that lived down the road. He was my middle son's age. And he would set up, I remember, a lemonade stand, probably when he was a tween, right? 10 or 11, sort of at the main, like not the main road, but right off the main road there. And I remember walking down and, okay, hey, Grant, I'll buy you some lemonade. And he told me, I swear he was 11, 10, 12. He one day was going to run a hotel, and he was going to be, that was his plan. I'm like, okay, a restaurant. Do you know he since went on to Cornell hotel school, and he is in the business. I don't know who he works for now, but buying up this, for the business, not himself, but whatever corporate. And he loves it. Started at, summer jobs in Marriott, at the Marriott in, Beechwood, house cleaning, whatever. And I just thought, wow. So this little kid's lemonade stand, that was his, when you talked about entrepreneur, that was his start. But quickly for my kids, and then I'll pass it on. Two things. Sports, they were always sports kids. Hard to use your phone when you're running down a soccer field or playing in a basketball court or, jumping in. Like we had a rec pool. I would always bring them to the rec pool. That, and as they got older, jobs. We were kind of adamant, you got a job. As even at 15, the working papers, they did everything from lifeguards to summer camp counselors to working at the outlet store. So that I was a big proponent, of not laying around and having mom and dad spend money. So anyway, I agree with you.
Is there still plenty of time for them to get into trouble and have fun?
Right.
Even though they're working, they still come home with plenty of hours of no responsibility.
Right. And they have responsibility. My youngest was a camp counselor for like the middle school kids or younger, that 10, best experience in his life. He could not believe how difficult kids were and keeping them in tow. And it was, Jessica, you would know, the rec summer camp in Solon. Oh my goodness, he would come home exhausted. So they learned so much. So
my little brother had the exact same job, and I think he has the exact same, same experience.
It's hard work. So anyway, I went on too long. Sorry.
You're fine. I was just going to say, I think, because, that was the same. that was the same camp that I did, every year until how in middle school, I want to say.
I want to say,
Yeah,
but I
so
don't
like
know.
all
At
the way
least
through middle
sixth grade.
school.
At least up through sixth grade.
Yeah, that's got to be it. And then we were definitely a family of get a job or camp, one of the two. I mean, as soon as I got my Arby's job, I just did that up through I think every summer of college, and then I got your teen magazine job partway through college as my summer job. But yeah, I think we always tried to make sure there was something going on, because I think I would get bored if I was just sitting there playing video games. And don't get me wrong, I would be fine playing video games every second of every day for 3 months straight. And I think that my parents knew that. And anyone else? Kamira, Melissa, either of you guys?
Well, I'll jump. Sue, when you talked about camp in the backyard, I thought, oh, we did that, but not like what you described. Yours is like incredible. It's just like so entrepreneurial. Ours, I by mistake bought this huge tent for like 8 people, and so we put that in the backyard, and then we filled it with like pillows and blankets and like books and like drawing supplies and all that. So it was like a place away from home in the backyard, like 5 feet away, where they could hang out. So that was like a great hangout for them. It was different. We couldn't do that in the winter here in Massachusetts. So we had that.
Kind of like a tree house. It's like a hideaway, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
That sounds awesome.
It was pretty awesome. And the other thing we definitely did camps, but we did like half-day camps, because at that age, my kids were just so sick of school and like overwhelmed with all the programming that they could take about a half day of people, and then they needed their alone time to recharge. I think that's pretty much all we did. I mean, I remember my summers as a kid where our whole street, like all the kids got together all the time. We had huge water fights and like just games all the time. We stayed out till the street lights went on, but there was nothing like that in my neighborhood. And it just really made me nostalgic for my youth. I wish they had it. And I'm going to mute because my dogs are about to bark really loudly at each other.
Kamira, you're on.
I'm on. Okay. Melissa mentioned summer camps. Summer camps are great. The Y summer camps are usually your most affordable opportunities locally. But the best part about the Y camps is they always have swimming. I always like camps with swimming because nothing tires out a kid more than being in a pool. So if you can get to one of those camps, that's great. We did, so we did jobs. Everybody had to have a job when they were old enough. Even if you were too young, there were jobs around the house that we could give you to do, and you could earn income. We had one son, because of his other extracurricular pursuits, he couldn't really punch a clock. So he became very entrepreneurial, and he was walking dogs and babysitting so he can set his own hours. There's always an opportunity to make money. But we also, I was thinking about this a little differently. Like, as a family, we tried to do things in the summer. So we did like, we're very competitive. So we would have like one year we had family Olympics, and we would literally do different activities like bowling, this or that. And there is a medal. There's a family medal. And we were serious about who's getting that medal. We would take turns coming up with staycation ideas that fit within a budget. Each person had to come up with one. We did the same thing with book club. Each person had to come up with a book, and we'd all read it and stuff like that.
I want to be in Kamira's family.
I'm sure my guys will trade with you. We did, take a deep dive in something like my musical one. He would take a deep dive, and there's a certain piece that he really wanted to get by a composer that he really didn't have time during the school year to do. So he'd take a deep dive into that. I had a kid build a computer during a summer. That took a lot of time. And then I had a kid one summer who didn't want to do anything, and it was driving me nuts. And I had things, you know how you get busy and it slips your attention that they aren't doing anything. And so finally I just hauled that kid off to the food bank. I was like, listen, there's always something to do. We're gonna have to volunteer. If you can't find anything else to do, there is always something. And our last thing is what we're doing this week. We do this project. It takes all year, it takes multiple years, but we collect our frequent flyer miles and our frequent stay points on credit cards and stuff, pay the bills on credit cards, everything. And every couple of years, we take a trip, our free-ish trip. And we don't know where we're going ahead of time. Sometimes we may have an idea of where we want to go according to whatever interest. But most of the time, it's like, where can we get the biggest bang for our buck? And we plan it that way. And the cheaper we can get it, the better the trip is before we even make it. So that's what we're this year is a year that we're on for the free-ish trip.
Wow.
Myra, I think you say a couple important things, and one is involvement. Like, I love how involved you were, and I think that's important too. Even if you're working, the involvement of a the book club or the family Olympics, or I think when you can, I think it's really important, because if we don't have our phones and we can involve our kids in doing something, I think it's key. And then you said something else, and it completely slipped my mind. But I do remember, if you can, and our kids can be fun, right? If we give them the chance. Sometimes we forget that they can be fun. So
I think the biggest problem today is that boredom. Like I had one kid who was bored one summer and he built a desk. Now that is amazing. I mean, I don't know where to put it. I can't wait to get rid of it. But it is big and beautiful. And if anyone needs a wooden desk, it's yours. But the problem is, most kids today, we're hearing that when they're bored, they're on their phones.
yeah.
So it's not like we're kind of bandaging the feeling, the emotion of boredom that used to lead to creativity with like watching a few extra videos on your phone. So I don't know what I would do today, because I do love when boredom leads to something extraordinary. I mean, who wouldn't love it? We all love it, right? But I don't know how you manage that now when they have this 24/7 access to something that keeps you from being bored, because no one's like, gee, I really hope I could be bored so that I could be creative. It's, you're bored, and then you try to get out of boredom, but now they're never in boredom. So
Right.
I don't know.
I think it helps if people within your community are willing to, like, I've known for hiring young people in the summer, not like, 40 hours a week, et cetera, but there's always something like a research project or something, or back in the day, I guess it would have been data entry. And then one year I just I had a kid who needed to do summer work, and we were having a power struggle. So I hired a high schooler, and she worked with him, and it was wonderful. And she came up with all kinds of creative ways to do things that I never would have thought of. I'd have been like, here, flashcards and charts and stuff. And she was like, what computer game do you like? Let's make a story about that computer game. Okay, let's write the story. And then she, all this wonderful stuff that only a 15 or 16-year-old can get a 7-year-old to do. Whereas mom is like, I said, memorize those spelling words.
Oh my God, Kamira, you are full of suggestions. That is amazing. Like, if your kid needs to get some work done over the summer, which no one wants to do, it could be made much more fun if it's not you.
Yes. Yeah, it was worth it for me. I'm not sure how much he got out of it, but I got a lot.
Yeah, outsourcing. The other
Similarly, I want to add that kids are free labor too. I mean, like, if you have a big project, like a landscaping project, or you need to like clean out an area of your house, like just enlist the whole family to do it for one day, set a time, like from this time to this time. And it may be hard in the moment, but they'll see when you're all working together,
Right.
it goes by much, much faster. And then they get to see the end result of all their efforts. And I don't know.
That never played out in my house. I think it's a beautiful idea. I really want some pictures of your family, but we don't have any pictures of that.
But even on a smaller scale, I remember baking. Like, I love to bake, and eat the batter of chocolate chip cookies. And so do my kids. And none of us have ever gotten sick from the raw eggs, just so you know. Don't send emails. But we, to this day, my boys are great bakers. I mean, they make the best chocolate because that's what we would do. So it doesn't it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be expensive, but it's little things like that. And I think again, they can learn so much from us doing things with them. And who knows where they'll end up.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say one of the other benefits of your kid getting a job is that I have grown-up kids now, and one of them had a stretch without a job and was able to patch together like a bunch of different things that meant they could afford their life still,
Right.
which was amazing. And I think it's really because that kid got a job and worked in a frozen yogurt place that was annoying, and she had to wipe up other people's messes. And so it was like she just took whatever she could to make a buck. And I think working younger gives you that work ethic, right? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
It's that mindset, right, Sue? That, I need to work.
I need to work.
Part of me.
That kid wanted to go on a trip. And so we said, okay, get a job. And so tying like the value of something to your effort is also, I mean, listen, I can't believe we have 4 people here who absolutely were on the same page when it came to summers. And it didn't mean didn't mean my kids didn't have fun. They had plenty of fun.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck to everybody who's trying to figure out what to do this summer. And hopefully there's some time for a staycation and a job and a lemonade stand and a host of other things. Have a great week. Oh, and next week is Memorial Day. So we won't see you next week. We'll see you the week after. Bye-bye.